James Harden used to be so powerful he could change teams like a kid who just bought a bunch of jerseys. I like this one. Nope, I like this one. He was the worst part of player empowerment. Wants to leave Houston, shows up fat. Wants to leave Brooklyn, stops trying to play. But this time is different. Harden has suddenly decided he wants out of Philly, but now he doesn't have the power. Harden will regret making this trade demand. We will finally see him squirm. Oh, this isn't about winning. If Harden wanted to win, he'd stay with Joel Embiid. Last year, they were a game away from the East Finals. He wants to go to the West and go through Jokic? No, this is about money. Harden says the Sixers went back on their word and lied to him. Last offseason, he turned down $47 million for 1 year to sign for less and help Philly add players. But the secret agreement was a max contract this offseason, but Philly would have been stupid to offer that. No one is giving Harden a max deal after another playoff meltdown. So they said, oh yeah, about that max contract promise, yeah, we're gonna have to renegotiate. So Harden was pissed. How dare they pay him what he's actually worth? Yeah, James should have thought about that when he was in Houston. Before he forced his way out, the Rockets offered him a historic $50 million a year contract. But when that didn't work out, he is back to worrying about his bank account. Well, it's too late, James Harden. People have found out about your age and your playoff performance. Philly doesn't want to ruin their own franchise, so Harden took them off his social media, but nothing happened. He is still a Sixer. And the GM Daryl Morey said this.
If we do look at a trade, it's going to be for one of two things. If we don't get, either a very good player or something that we can turn into a very good player, then we're just not going to do it.
Oh no, they will pull a Ben Simmons? But first, Manscaped has asked me to share a story. This one is embarrassing. I have never said this out loud in my life. When I was younger, it was my first time worrying about, being well-groomed down there. I was at a water park and I saw an older girl notice that things weren't quite right with my low-cut swimsuit, a little bit messy. The image of her face is burned in my memory. So that night, I went home with a normal hair buzzer and I nicked myself. Ouch! None of that horror story happens if Manscaped had been invented in the mid-90s. But lucky for you, there is the Performance Package 4.0. It's got a waterproof Lawnmower 4.0 with a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. And now that we can all feel safe wearing low-cut swimsuits without stragglers peeking out, you can use the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, keeping you cool from sunrise to sunset. Manscaped even throws in their Performance Package 4.0 two gifts, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. So to get 20% off and free shipping, insert the code AMHOOPS20 at manscaped.com. That is 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code AMHOOPS20. Manscaped, the perfect way to make a real splash with your cannonballs this summer. Remember, Ben demanded a trade, but no one offered a big package, so he just awkwardly went to practice with his cell phone in his pocket during drills. You mean the Clippers aren't gonna offer a very good deal for Harden? No, of course they're not. I mean, LA will take Harden, but they're not gonna pay a huge price. But the difference between Harden and Ben Simmons, Harden is on the last year of his contract. He has to suit up, play, and play well. He has to show he is still worth a big contract. I mean, if he shows up fat or doesn't try on the court, no one's gonna wanna pay him next summer. The Sixers have all the power this time, and if Harden's out next year, they've got a ton of cap space. A lot of people have said they'll have 2 max contracts, but that's actually not true. They will have enough for 1 max player and 1 very good player to pair with Embiid. Let me show you why. With no Harden, Tobias Harris, and waiving every other asset, it's $64 million from Embiid and Maxi's cap hold. So their cap space next year is about $74 million. The price of a max contract, about $51 million. So that's enough for 1 max player and a $23 million free agent. Free agents next year include Anthony Davis, Kawhi, Paul George, Pascal Siakam, Drew Holiday, OG Anunoby. They could all be Sixers. But there is one other thing James Harden is forgetting. This would be the craziest move a team has pulled on a star player. The CBA is a rule book for how the NBA operates. A forgotten section is on page 317 and it backs James Harden into a corner. It says, a player who withholds playing services for more than 30 days after the start of his last season covered by his contract shall not be a veteran free agent and shall not be entitled to negotiate a contract with any other basketball team until the team for which the player last played expressly agrees otherwise. Translation, if Harden holds out, the Sixers could block him from playing basketball ever again. How insane is that? Why didn't they use that on Ben Simmons? Because Ben wasn't in the last year of his deal. He had 3 seasons left, but Harden is. Philly has so much leverage, it is insane. Harden has to come crawling back to them. By the way, why do we never see all this drama with like European players? That's why they are becoming the face of the league. We have to go to like obscure CBA rules with these dumb trade demands, but guys like Giannis and Nikola Jokic don't do this. It's always American players with the drama. Europeans come up in rough environments, playing in places like Bosnia. We used to say toughness about American players, but guys like Harden are changing all that, which brings up another non-American, Joel Embiid. He is the unluckiest superstar alive. Dude gets drafted to a team that's losing on purpose, wastes a year of his prime with Ben Simmons, now almost 30, dealing with James Harden. So people freaked out when Embiid said this about his future.
I just want to win a championship, whatever it takes. I don't know where that's going to be, whether it's in Philly or, anywhere else. I just want to have a chance.
In Philly or anywhere else, I just want a chance? Who can blame him? Now, he's not demanding a trade there, but one team is waiting for that moment. The New York Knicks have planned for years to trade for a superstar, but they're waiting for the right one. An agent named Leon Rose dumped all of his superstar clients to run the Knicks in 2020. Since then, he has capped all their draft picks, picked up other teams' draft picks, stacked young talent like RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes for a big star trade. Donovan Mitchell wanted to go to New York. The Knicks went hard to get him, but they had a limit. The Jazz tried to fleece them for Spida, so the Knicks said no. Reports say discussions on Zach LaVine have taken place, but the price is gigantic. The Wolves want the world for Karl Anthony Towns, but Joel Embiid is worth it. 29 years old, a 30-point-per-game scorer in back-to-back years, dominant defender, and a perfect fit with Jalen Brunson. That is the key here. It's why we haven't heard a ton of noise on Damian Lillard. He and Brunson wouldn't really mix. I mean, if Dame and CJ McCollum didn't mix for years on defense, Jalen Brunson ain't gonna work. But Leon Rose is Joel's former agent. They have a great relationship. Joel already has a house in New York. A big-time Philly reporter admitted Embiid to the Knicks absolutely could happen. Now, we'll look at the Knicks trade offer in a second, but who could beat them? The Brooklyn Nets could actually offer as much as 6 first-round picks, but they're not one player away. But the Knicks could offer RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier for salary, Emmanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes, and 6 first-round picks for Embiid. They also have 3 pick swaps to offer. So I'm happy to see James Harden backed up into a corner, but I feel bad for another player. We've got a new 16-year-old who's supposed to be the #1 overall pick years from now, but that has backfired on guys like Imani Bates or Julian Newman. Is the media finally right this time about Cooper Flagg? Check it out.